Age is just a number. Welcome back to Get Connected. I'm your host, Conn Jackson. That's the best-selling title of Dara Torres' book. Well, she's about to join us live. The Olympic gold medalist. She has been in 5 Olympic Games, and guess what? She's going for number 6. It's crazy. If you're in your 40s, we should all be trying out for the Olympics. It's great to welcome back my inspiration, Dara Torres, back to Get Connected. Welcome.
Hey, Conn, it's great to be back.
Well, Dara, it's great to be back with you. Tell us how little Tessa is doing.
Tessa is doing great. She has started summer camp, and she and I took a little week break and went to Sun Valley, Idaho. We have a couple trips coming up this summer, and she's just growing like a weed.
That is so sweet. Now, Dara, when you take a vacation, do you actually rest from swimming?
My coach actually had wanted me to take time off, but I went out to Sun Valley, Idaho, where my mom lives, and they have a beautiful outdoor pool just facing the mountains, and it was just too tempting not to at least get in and splash around a little bit.
Well, Dara, that had to be awesome. I just want to send our condolences to you. I know you recently lost your coach. How or what has been the most difficult thing for you?
I think the most difficult part, I believe, for everyone on the team is walking onto the pool deck in Coral Springs, where he was every single day. And the toughest part was when the flag was half-mast, and you just constant reminders of him. But you know, you have to realize that he was in terrible pain and agony, and was just suffering from this aplastic anemia blood disorder. And so when someone's going through something like that, as much as you miss them and want them to live the life to its fullest, he's probably in a better place now.
What lessons did Michael teach you about life?
To never give up, and he basically at first was more into the age thing, that I shouldn't put an age limit on my dreams, and he's really taught me a lot about that.
And Dara, I liked in your best-selling book when you referenced the pool as saying when you dive into the water, it doesn't know how old you are.
It's true. I mean, you do dive in the water. Everyone made such a big deal about my age, which I understand, and I actually even understand it more now because I do feel the effects of my age. But, you know, the water doesn't know your age when you dive in, so it doesn't matter how old you are as long as you're the fastest one up there competing.
You know, Dara, you have so many accolades: gold medalist, world champion, world records. What's it like, though, being a 2-time best-selling author?
You know, it was fun writing my books. The first one was a memoir, and that was a lot of fun. That was called Age is Just a Number, and really just to give a background of what it took for me to get to where I was up to that point in Beijing. And then my second book, Gold Medal Fitness, is really what happened there was people just kept asking me, well, what do you do to stay in shape? How do you get the abs you get in your arms? And, you know, what are the special tips? And there are special things I do and different innovative training that I've done. And so I decided to put it all in a book, and it's been successful. It's been a lot of fun.
Another thing you mentioned in your book, which I caught on quite quickly, is the importance of sleep.
You know what, recovery is huge. There's a few things actually that I really focus on now, even more so than I did 3 years ago. The first thing is recovery. You want to make sure you do get a really good night's sleep. I like to get at least 8 hours, or I'm very cranky. And also, when I mean recovery, it's you know, adding some time where you're not doing anything, just taking a day to yourself and not doing any exercise. So I only train 5 days a week. I take 5 days off. And the other thing also is, at my age, it doesn't matter if I'm working out or just running after my child, picking her up. I get the same muscle aches and pains that everyone else does in their middle age, and I make sure that I use Bengay cold therapy to help with you know, my muscle aches and pains, so they'll go away quick.
Well, mentioning Bengay, I'm just curious, how do you apply it and how does it actually work?
Well, the one that I like the best is it has little nubules on the end of it, and it's just a nice, easy gliding. It doesn't have, you know, a real particular scent to it. It provides a fast-acting blast of cold, which is kind of cool because you feel the cold working and penetrating into your muscles, and it has a long-lasting relief. And you know, it's actually very similar to technologies that are used by chiropractors and physical therapists. And if you want to learn more about it, you can go to Bengay.com.
Well, Dara, I know you just used the word recovery. Tell us how your knee surgery went and how it's coming along.
You know, I wish I could say that it was just one quick injury and that was it, but it just kind of happened over time, and it got to the point where it just deteriorated and I had no cartilage left. It was just bone on bone. And so I ended up having major reconstructive knee surgery where they went in, they actually broke the shin bone, shifted it over because my kneecap was off to the side. So now my kneecap was centered, and about a month before the major surgery, they took a piece of cartilage out and grew it with Carticel. and transplanted it back in my knee. And then the past year and a half, the cartilage has been growing back in my knee.
Well, Dara, after being to 5 Olympics, performing so well, what still encourages you to get into the pool every day?
I think the biggest incentive would have to be just making another Olympic team. You know, I feel like I've pretty much accomplished everything I've wanted to do in my swimming career, and it's just more so, I love swimming, I love standing up and competing, and it'd just be great to be out there one last time for a 6th Olympic Games.
That's one thing we appreciate about you, is that awesome attitude of yours. Now, when we see you getting on the blocks about that 1 or 2 minutes before you actually dive in, tell us what you're thinking about.
You know, I really don't even remember while it's going on, but one thing I do know is everyone has their different ways of getting motivated before they swim or before they compete or do anything. They have some type of motivation. A lot of people are visual and they like to visualize their races beforehand. I feel like if I've done all the work up to that point, that I should just be able to stand up on the block and go. If I think too much about what I'm going to do, then I get kind of messed up. So I just play some great music and get motivated, and then take my earphones out and just stand up on the blocks and go.
I can only imagine what the intensity must be like. Now let's turn our attention to our last question. Given all your well-deserved success and continued, what advice would you give to us living out our dreams?
You know, it's just to stick with it. I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I have those mornings when I wake up and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I just want to stay in my nice comfy bed. But because I set goals, I sort of revert back to them and realize, well, I'm not going to reach those goals if I'm just sitting in bed. So goal setting is very important to me, and it motivates me.
Well, Dara, we love your passion. You're an inspiration in the pool, out of the pool, a great mom. Thank you so much for joining us again today.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I can tell you one thing for sure. Dara Torres is my superhero. Yep, she is, #1. All right, we'll be back on Get Connected right after these messages.